This is an InfoComm 2018 special. My name is Tim Albright. I am your host. Today, we're going to talk about Center Stage. This is the second year for the gathering, Wednesday through Friday of the show. Again, the show starts June 6th, goes through the 8th. And with us to talk about it are two of my favorite people in the world, Rachel Bradshaw and Kirsten Nelson. Welcome, both of you.
Hello.
Hi, Tim.
So Rachel, I want to start with you on this. Can you give me an idea and an overview of, I mentioned this is the second year for Center Stage. Mm-hmm. What was the thinking process behind the original Center Stage? And then why did you guys decide to bring it back this year?
Well, the thought process behind having a center stage is, we used to have lots of little stages throughout the show. And we just sort of thought to ourselves, if we took all of the resources that we use to create these half dozen stages and then poured them into one, could we make that one something really, really cool? So we did that, and we found out that yes, we could. So we decided to do it again. Philosophically, the idea behind Center Stage is we want this to be a showcase for essentially like how cool our industry is, because our industry is freaking cool. And so our sort of mission statement behind Center Stage is show how people can use AV or are using AV to create exceptional outcomes, to make themselves better, faster, stronger, happier, more engaged humans operating in the world. And this year, that is manifesting itself in these conversations between artists, engineers, designers, users of AV, all talking about something really special that they've created or that AV has enabled them to create. And when I was looking at the program earlier, it's a real testament to the transformative power of our industry, because there is just session after session on this schedule that takes an idea that you're familiar with and you think you know what it is and shows you how AV is turning it into something completely different. Like a hotel is not a place where you sleep. It's a place where you create and experience music. A building is not a fixed piece of architecture. It's a robot. An interface is not a button. It's a human being and the building that they move through. And AV is central to all of that. And this has, of course, all been made possible by my beloved colleague, Kirsten Nelson, who has put together just the most insane program I've ever seen. So I should let her talk about that.
Well, yeah, and Kirsten, this is the one thing I didn't mention this before. This is all free, right? This is the center of, call it Center Stage, but it's in the middle of the trade show, and it happens, on these regular intervals, and just people just come up and they can, sit down and enjoy the talk and take a load off your feet, because trade shows suck on feet. So talk a little bit about some of your favorite folks that are going to be there those 3 days.
Okay, yeah, and definitely that is the program. The way we set it up is it is these 20-minute dialogues that happen on stage, because we know that people are, when they're on the show floor, they're taking in a lot of information, and we want to expand on these ideas in a quick way. You can dive in, hear a talk that's going to change your life, and then keep moving. So it's a great way to do it. We do them as dialogues on purpose. We choose people to interact on a topic, people with two different angles on a particular form of expertise, so that we can kind of get right to the heart of a subject. So yeah, we have a few sessions that we're actually, like Rachel was saying, the entire program at Center Stage is kind of mind-boggling this year. Just, it all came together in a way that we're continually astounded by. So I always tell everybody, just sit there all 3 days at the Center Stage. It's comfortable, prepare to have your life changed. But I think, so I guess if I was going to choose a few favorites, I would talk about the fact that we have a few different subjects that are, core to our industry that we're expanding on. Everyone we brought in is a practitioner who's using our stuff in a new way. So, I think one of the biggest things we'll see throughout the program is AR, VR, MR, all these Rs. Those are all playing out in a multitude of ways. So we've brought in people who are dealing with it in terms of live event, location-based entertainment, education, how the classroom is changing, not just putting a virtual reality headset on your face to go on a field trip. You're actually going to be attending class through VR. And what does that mean for people who are working in that space now? Like how do we prepare for that now? So I think the things I would want to highlight are, on Wednesday, we have a session called The Future of AR and Immersive Experiences. And that's meant to be directly how you're going to be adding AR to projects and live events right now. It's not this future thing that you have to be really specialized to do. You can do this right now. So we brought in two great people to talk about that. Then we have this really super philosophical talk that same day on Wednesday, the first day. It's called Why Our Voice Assistants Need Ethics. This one's one of my favorites because one of the speakers is Sophie Kleber from Huge, a really big creative agency, a digital agency that's just elevating what they're calling, it's just the user experience, that they're creating user experiences on a whole new level. We put her on stage with David Bianchardi from AVNC, because watching them talk about the interface in terms of, we're going to be using voice, but how does that voice interact with us? And how do we design for that? How do we make sure the personality of a space or a project is the one that people expect from it? It's just an interesting angle. These are things we're going to have to look at in the near term. Then we have a whole bunch of sessions that are kind of threaded through and around live music, of course. And one of my favorite ones is on Thursday. We're having this kind of show ender session from 3 to 4. We have these two sessions back to back that are pretty cool. One is the one at 3:30. It's about, I wrote it down. Where is it? Oh, combining live music with both physical and virtual new media.
Wow.
Basically, it's, we're talking about new media everywhere, but how is it really playing out in live music right now? We have a couple of really talented people from an organization called The Family. It's Yo-Yo Lin and Steve DeBall. They're going to be talking about how basically they've been putting on these events where there is a live musician, but they're incorporating so many elements of new media, acoustics, Foley art. They're going next level. And then they're packaging it all up intentionally to be able to recreate it in virtual reality later. These events are meant to be experienced in real time and then captured and carried on. It's this new way to make musicians have a stage that people will definitely come, leave their house, go out to a venue and experience something completely original. So we're excited about that. And then we have a couple sessions on Friday that are related to it. Friday morning, you're going to want to stay. You're going to want to stay the show the whole time. You're going to want to get up early Friday. Get to this 10:30 a.m. session at Center Stage. It's going to be pretty killer. We have this talk where we're bringing Pablo Henderson from W Hotels and DJ White Shadow. Paul Blair is professionally known as DJ White Shadow. He is a co-writer and producer with Lady Gaga. He worked on her Born This Way and Art Pop album. He's toured with her. They're going to be on stage talking about live music in hotels. Because quite frankly, we've all seen it. We're just getting to a point now where people are going to hotels really excited to have an experience seeing live music. And they built their brand around it, and I think that it's going to be really interesting to hear this talk. They have built these things called sound suites into their hotels, and Paul Blair / DJ White Shadow, he was really involved in making the sound suites, and they're currently bringing all kinds of great artists who are on tour, who record at the W and do sessions and then do shows. I think it's a really fun time for a lot of these extensions from our industry. I think Center Stage is all about that.
Yeah, if you've never been to a W hotel or stayed in one, if you have one close to you or you're traveling to a city where there one is, I would at least encourage you to go buy one, because it is an experience in and of itself, from the lobby all the way up to the actual suites. So I want to get both of your takes on this real quick before we wrap up. You have so many an eclectic combination of folks here. You mentioned, DJ White Shadow. You have folks that are creating, AR. You have voice. You have, manufacturers coming to this. What are you hoping that folks kind of take away from, one or two of these sessions, or if they nobody's going to sit for all 3 days, but if they do sit for all 3 days, what are you hoping that they take away from it?
Well, I think the thing I tell everybody is, these are practitioners who are calling themselves things that, they're calling themselves creative technologists, and they're bringing in all kinds of aspects of our technology, but I noticed that they're selecting out aspects of the experiences that we create, and that's what they're calling themselves. I think that what you might leave center stage realizing is that we are all specialists already in these advanced new fields. They're just called different things elsewhere. And I think that that's my intention, is to connect the passion of our industry with these experts who have tapped into different aspects of it and are playing with it in new ways. A lot of our center stage speakers are so thrilled to come to InfoComm because they can't believe there's this playground for them to come experience. They want to see all the stuff that we have. And I really think that that's what I want this to be, is an exchange of expertise and passion.
And for me, I think what I'm going to say builds off what Kirsten said, but I want people to come to center stage to see that AV is magic, and they are magic. Yeah. That these incredible projects are being used creating their tools and their expertise that they have. And that by, learning how these creative technologists think about problems and approach projects, they can go forth and create their own transformative project that will take something that was familiar to us and turn it into something completely new. Because all of this craziness, all of this creativity, all of this technology, all of this expertise lives within our attendees, lives within our fields.
Yep.
And this is just a platform giving it expression.
Absolutely, I agree with that. All right, we'll wrap it up here. Again, if you want to put it on your schedule, just to come by and sit down and enjoy one of the sessions. N as in Nancy, 1646 is technically the booth number, but it's a ginormous stage in the center of North Hall. So that's why it's called Center Stage. So go by and check out Center Stage Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, June 6th through the 8th. Thank you both so much. For more information about us and AVNation, go to avnation.tv, as we also head to Las Vegas and bring you all of the stuff from the show floor. So avnation.tv, avnation.tv.